Hey there, welcome to another episode of Two Guys One Crypt. How's it going, Mr. Nasty?
It's going.
It's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it is. So, how you been doing, man? It's been a little bit.
I've been all right. It's been kind of a blah day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a
Working, getting
blah
over.
day. Not
Blah
as much.
day.
Well,
Getting over
yeah,
a hangover.
yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't been drinking nearly as much these days. I kind of went overboard last night, and whew,
Huh.
yeah.
How so, Chuck? How did you go overboard? Let's hear what your limits were.
I drank most of a fifth to myself. I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, uh, let's see how today goes then, because I got a feeling it's going to be a pretty
Oh, this
interesting
is this is
episode.
gonna be this is gonna be an interesting episode for sure.
Yes, because we definitely, yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting one. Here we got Ron already tuning in. Can we just get to the chicks having sex? Yes, we
Uh,
can. Yes, we can. Here in a few minutes. But before we go ahead and jump all the way into this shit, we should probably go ahead and talk a little bit about some things before we introduce our guest for this evening. First off, got a comic book, Tales of Shock and Terror. It's still available. Check it out over at talesfromthepodcast.com. You can use it to read as a wedge. You can lick it. You can touch it. I don't give a fuck what you do, but buy as many copies as you can over at our website there. Um, what else do we got? We got House of Mysterious Secrets. Check them out too and use our code 4130. Save 10% on some awesome fucking merch. Chuck, I heard they got a lot of new shit coming out over there too.
oh, they got all kinds of good stuff over there.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
whole new bunch of shirts and new posters and stuff. Yeah, they always got sales on too.
yeah, that is true. And with our code 4130, you can save an extra 10% too. Also, last but not least, check out this Etsy store. It's always in all the show notes. I mean, basically pretty easy for anybody to find. But use our code TFTP20, save 20%. Good friend of the show, Sydney. She does this for us. And I mean, let's be honest, you're gonna buy shit to make your house smell good. Why not support a good cause and save a little bit of money doing so? All right. So, anyways, let's jump into this fucking shit. So we got a friend of ours, and I'm kind of curious to see what he thinks about everything with this. But let's go ahead and introduce our friend of the show tonight, Stelios from Spooky Films. How's it going, man?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Going pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing good. Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, dude,
Sure.
of course. Thank you for being part of the show and being on tonight yourself. Anyways, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about what you're doing and what you have been doing, so far? Because I know, obviously, with Spooky Films, I know that you've been doing quite a bit, especially in my local area. I know that you recently just had like a skating event that went on, and I know you're doing like some photo booth type stuff as well.
Yep.
And I know you have an event coming up in our local area out in Monroe, Michigan, doing a spooky night haunted house, which would be available next week.
Very cool.
There we go. Why'd you send me the other picture? The one you got is so much better than the one you sent me.
I know that was the original one. We just had these printed this week, so
Oh,
I personally I like the first one.
I
'Cause
don't
it's the
know.
original one, but it's have a spooky night. It's our haunted house. It's gonna be at the FOP. It's gonna be Friday and Saturday, October 14th and 15th. We're running from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're gonna, have a little bit of a clown exhibit, witch exhibit. We're gonna have our casket selfie station, photo booth provided
cool.
by Joshy Boy Edits. We're gonna have people walking on stilts.
Nice.
It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be a fun event.
Very, very
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I'm excited to see that. I've always wondered what it would be like to see people doing the whole like walking on stilts, but like only first timers.
Right? Yeah.
Like I want to watch a bunch of people fall from really high. That's
Exactly.
it.
You couldn't get me. You couldn't get me to be on those. Fuck no. I'm terrified
No?
of heights. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to see the whole process and how they even get on them boys. So we'll see.
Hats
Yeah,
off.
actually,
Hats off.
that is pretty interesting. What time are they getting there? Because I think I might show up to actually see that process myself.
I mean, I told everyone to really be there around like 3:30, just to run rehearsal and
Very cool.
makeup, hair, all that stuff. So should be there pretty much all day.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to check that out myself.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, is there anything else new that you have going on or you've been working on? Obviously with spooky films, maybe is there any kind of horror movies in the works?
There is a horror movie in the works. We're just waiting to sign some deals, waiting for everything else to be finalized for next month. We should start production next month. We're hoping for an early 2023 release for our next short film. It's going to be running about 30 minutes film time. So we're pretty excited about that.
Is there any information you might be able to tell us about it, or is it still pretty early in the works?
It's still pretty early in the works. The title of the movie is called The Collector.
Okay.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. So,
I've also seen The Collection. Are we getting a sequel here?
It has no relation to either one. It has no
Damn
relation
it!
to either
I
one.
really
Yeah.
like those movies. I'll admit
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Those are the good movies. They're underrated movies. But yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, well, I'm trying to think of which one it is. Is it The Collection? Is that the one where we get almost like a ghost ship type opening where everybody basically fucking dies in the beginning?
I believe that is. The Collector is the one that's like keeping the bodies or whatever.
Well, the Collector and The Collection are the
I get them
same
so
series.
Okay.
It's
I
just
get
the
them
beginning.
I think the Collector is a different beginning. I believe that's the Collection.
Right. That's what I thought too. I think The Collector is the first one and The Collection's the second. I don't know.
Whichever one has to do with the house and the whole family and all that shit.
Right. Yeah.
That's the one that I think of the most. But yeah, those are killer movies, literally.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just like this movie, which may also go ahead and throw out there, is based off of a real event, which is definitely something a lot different than us because a lot different than compared to what we normally do. Obviously, we're continuing on with our Peter Jackson. At this point, let's just say the Peter Jackson appreciation.
Did you just have a stroke on the air?
Well, I'm trying to think of fucking basically. I mean, like I'm trying to figure out because this was supposed to start off as like a Peter Jackson month, and it turned into like literally like we've basically done most of his fucking filmography.
Yeah,
except for the ones that you were like, well, we can't do The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, and you refuse to do Lovely Bones.
great. It's a great fucking movie. That movie just puts me in such a weird place when I watch it, so I just don't watch it that much.
I don't blame you. It's a
pretty
sad movie.
It is. Yeah. I don't want to be sad, Chuck.
No,
I don't like that guy.
In a fucked up way, I want to see sad Chuck though.
Did you see sad Chuck way more than you realize?
Yeah.
Try to be happy, Chuck.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna be happy with this one, but anyways,
so many emotions about this movie.
Really? I'm pretty excited to hear what you thought about this one. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So before we go ahead and jump into this fucking movie, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we always talk about with these movies. So first off, this movie was directed by the amazing Peter Jackson, which if you've been watching this show at any point in time, especially over the last couple of months, you would know every single thing that Peter Jackson's done because we've talked about everything from King Kong, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, The Frighteners, this movie, Dead Alive, Meet the Feebles, Bad Taste. I mean, this motherfucker has, I will say it, I don't know if anybody's going to argue with me. If you do, fuck you. But he's definitely created some of the greatest movies made, in my opinion. I don't know. Let's see. I got a little bit there with Chuck.
I'm not a Lord of the Ring guy at all. I don't care about those movies whatsoever. But I have respect for those movies, and they are some of the greatest movies ever made. So I'll have to agree with you on that statement.
Well, I mean,
So.
we fucking Meet the Feebles, though.
But I mean, yeah, you also have like not just for like the mainstream, but also for us underground geeks, who really love the Frighteners and have to explain it to like people all the time what that movie is. Meet the
all
Feebles
the
and
fucking time.
and Dead Alive's coming up at some point. So yeah, this one I had never heard of this one. I had never. This was not on my radar at all.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk.
Well, I'm excited to hear what you think about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, doing the screenplay for this film is Fran Walsh. As we know, has done every screenplay basically for Peter Jackson. For those who do not know, she is the wife of Peter Jackson as well. There's a reason they always work together.
Makes sense.
Really? Yeah. You would think so, yeah.
Anyways, the thing,
huh?
That seems to be the thing, Rob.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. At least they make a good team, though. I mean, there's so many other, like, what's her fucking face? I honestly.
Kubrick already always had his wife on set too.
No, there's
she always had something,
No, this is probably a very a weird one because I'm sure most people probably disagree with me on this one, but like Tim Burton and his wife. I mean,
oh yeah,
don't get me wrong. Sometimes what's her name, Bonham Carter,
Helena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once in a while, she fucking nails it, but if she doesn't nail it, she fucking blows.
Yeah,
it's like one or the other, kind of like Rob Zombie's wife. It's like, well, this movie sucked. Let's do a few more ass shots in there, and we'll just pass it off as a decent movie.
Yeah,
and that's like his whole fucking way of directing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see The Monsters? Did you watch it?
Yeah,
no,
I did.
I don't want to be disappointed. I love The Monsters so.
I do too, and I still stand by it and say that it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did watch some other movies though. I did happen to go out and watch the new Hellraiser.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched it last night.
Did you? Yeah. I mean,
I was happy.
I was disappointed.
I thought it was cool. I mean, there were some things that I could be critical about, but overall, I thought there was a lot about it that I liked.
I think they could have made it better. I think there was a lot of missed opportunity.
I mean, probably, but I think that it was done well, and
Well, I mean, done well for like a 2022 horror movie, considering like nowadays most things that come out tend to just be a big old pile of fucking shit.
I can definitely tell they put some thought and some passion into Hellraiser, and I appreciate that, considering the fact that there was no passion after part 4. They just kind of got scripts from other horror movies and slapped Pinhead in there and called the Hellraiser or whatever. You know what I mean? So this one actually just seemed like, I like Judgment, but this one seemed like they actually put a little bit of thought into it. I appreciate that as a Hellraiser fan. I got the box. I got the box in the elbow for a reason.
Well, I get that. They just could have done so much better of a job. I expected this to be.
I don't disagree.
Especially when they hype it up like, okay, we're going to do all this. We're going to make these changes, have the female lead, start to get all these people excited, and then they make a mediocre fucking film. If you're going to go all the way of doing all these things, make something that's worth a fuck. That's all I'm thinking.
I see what you're saying, but there was a lot more. There was a lot
way
cooler
more
parts
hype than what it deserved.
I don't know. I like the fact there was a hype there.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I bet the new Jeepers Creepers is probably better.
Oh God, I don't even not in the mood for that conversation.
Oh, I did it for you.
Fuck those movies. I don't care if I don't care if the new one was not had anything to do with Salva or not. It's still his creation, and he's a sick fuck. And fuck those movies. And if people don't fucking seem to understand why those movies suck and how disgusting they honestly are, actually go back and like watch them. Watch part 2 and tell me that shit isn't pervy as fuck. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. You did this. You did this.
Me?
You had to bring it up, didn't you? Had to bring it up.
What are you talking about? What
you know my hatred for Jeepers Creepers. It's like that. That is one way. It's one of the hardest things for me to stay away from in horror groups. I've gotten kicked out of horror groups because I'll sit there, just go down the line, just like people who are like all about it, and I'm just like, no, this is why you should hate this because I
All
just
right, I get it. I get
horrible.
it.
Turning
Horrible.
Sad Chuck into Mad Chuck. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you have no idea. I know, and it's cool. We understand you don't like that one. I do know you are a huge fan of Powder, though.
Dude, don't even. Don't even.
All right, fine. So, for those who don't know, nobody hates Victor Salva more than Chuck.
I'm
For
pretty sure
good
I'm
reason.
kidding.
I mean,
Yep.
if you're not familiar on why, look it up.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that. That'll turn this conversation way too seriously than what we should be. Good
Anyways, in this film, we got Melanie Lynskey as Pauline Barker. I'm trying to think of like what she's probably best known for. She's done quite a bit of stuff, but a lot of it really didn't have too much to do with like a lot of the stuff that I've personally seen. I know that she was in Yellow Jackets. She was in that new Last of Us TV series. She's done a lot of TV acting, to say the least.
Wasn't she in 2.5 Men?
Oh, she might have been. I mean,
Like, wasn't she Charlie Sheen's stalker?
I don't know. Was she? I
think
never
she
really
was.
watched a lot of that. I know she was the deputy in
show was
The
pretty funny.
Frighteners.
Oh
So-
yeah, she was. Yeah.
I mean, that's where
She's been in
I
a lot of
personally
shit.
know. Well, yeah.
Mm.
She was in Coyote Ugly, Snakeskin.
Never saw that.
I remember the posters for it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
She was in that. What's that really? Oh God, I didn't care for that movie. That XX movie.
X.
movie?
Yeah, it was just
Triple X.
No, not triple
it's
X. It
called
was
X.
two X's. It was two X's.
I don't
She
know
was
that
in the
one.
segment, the birthday party one.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about. The anthology.
Yes.
Okay, I know. Yeah, I do know what you're talking because the picture of it had the girl with the XX in her eyes.
Right. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
David's here. I think that one of the first movies that showed lesbian love scene was the 1961 film The Children's Hour, because long ago movies had a rule known as the Hays Code.
Okay.
I don't know. That's one thing I really never looked into, but I would probably say that there was probably a porno made before 1961 involving two women.
There's a running theme throughout this whole thing so far that I don't. Oh God, this
About
movie.
what?
I said because this movie and what it is.
What
I don't
about-
know. Oh my God, I don't
Oh,
know.
whatever. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Oh God.
Probably not as much as it deserves, but we will get into it.
Oh Lord. Okay.
So, we also have Kate Winslet in this movie as Juliet. Let's see what Titanic is probably one of her biggest roles. She's in the new Avatar. She was in Black Beauty. I'm trying to think of what else.
I'm trying to sit and think
Blackbird.
what I've actually seen her in besides Titanic.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I don't
Contagion.
think. No.
No. Let's see. What's I know there's another one.
I don't even know if I've heard of it.
Contagion was one for sure I would have expected you to see her, and she was in Hamlet, but that doesn't seem like it's up your alley there. Trying to think of like what would have been the way you seen her in movie 43.
Mhm.
No, maybe. She's been in a ton of shit. There's no arguing that.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just sitting here trying to think. I'm like, I don't really think I've seen that much shit with her in it. Like,
I know it's a short, and you might not have seen it, but she was in that Baba Yaga short.
are you kidding me? I have no idea what that is. Baba Yaga.
We'll have to talk after the show.
Does that sound like a movie that I probably just like passed on the screen and was like, oh,
If you knew
Baba Yaga.
If you knew what Baba Yaga was, then yes, 100%. It seems like something you would have watched.
I don't know, man.
You don't know?
I don't know.
God damn you, Chuck!
I would take one look at that word and go, no, it's probably like foreign.
Really?
I don't feel like reading. Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm trying to think like what you would really say. It's like a supernatural, kind of like almost like a witch. It's Slavic. It's like a folklore type thing.
Okay.
But
That does
it's
sound cool,
100% something that you would watch if you.
Yeah. but
I'm telling
I
you
would
right
take
now.
one look. I would take one look at that name and go, nope, it's probably foreign.
Well, I was just letting you know.
Okay.
Um,
I might give it a shot one of those days. I might pass it, laugh for a second, and then it might hit me. That's that movie that.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's possible. Anyways, we got Sarah Pierce in this as well. She was in this movie. What I probably know her from is she was Hilda in the Hobbit movies. She was also in Mortal Engines. Other than that, she's done a ton of TV work. She was in the old school TV shows, Hunters, Offspring, like I said, the Hobbit movies. What else was she in? I mean, that's basically where I know her from. She did a few other like TV shows here and there, but for the most part, were her big films. We also have Diana Kent in this as well. She was in this. Personally, she's probably her biggest role was probably in Star Wars. She was General Engel. So for those who don't know, that was like some of the newer Star Wars for sure. What else did she do? She was in the Titanic miniseries.
There was a Titanic miniseries.
Yes, in 2012, I believe.
How do you make them? Whatever.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how they've made Titanic more than it is right now. I mean, it's about a boat that's fucking sunk, and
I mean, it's a pretty big tragedy, and it's pretty interesting.
well, I mean,
But
yeah,
Jesus
but I mean,
Christ, let the
see,
dead
that's
lie,
a tragedy
man.
right there. Jesus Christ.
Like
Titanic. Oh.
Sometimes you got to stop poking, like the dead thing with the stick. Just let it be the dead thing,
Well, see, I don't know. It depends on what kind of stick it is, because sometimes when things
If it ain't kicking,
really
it ain't doing any much different than it was 2 seconds beforehand.
well, that's
Just better just quit wasting your time. Walk away from it.
oh god.
That's like those Sharknado movies. Like, come the fuck on, guys. We get it. Now they just have NATO everything.
Do they?
Bird NATO. Yeah, there's a bunch. There's like.
Is there a bird NATO?
I don't know.
Tell me that's a real thing. I'm looking it up right now.
I don't know if it is or not. But there was like an alligator one that was like similar. Like, so there's offshoot movies that are like ripoffs of Sharknado, and I'm just kind of like, well, really, why? Why do you need more of that?
Well,
please no.
Yeah, I mean,
they're fun
but
they're fun for a second, but only for a second until you're like, I want to watch something that's good.
Well, that's fair. So, anyways, we should probably jump into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So, to go ahead and throw the plot out there, and first off, for those who do not know and are big fans of this movie, because this movie does have a pretty big following, especially for Peter Jackson fans, of it's definitely regarded as probably one of his better made films.
Yeah.
Especially in his early career. If you haven't seen it, I will say I strongly suggest it though. As far as the plot for this movie though, two teenage girls share a unique bond. Their parents, concerned that friendship is too intense, separate them, and the girls take revenge. Obviously based off a true story, like I stated before. Now, with that description, I mean, it leaves a lot there, but we have a pretty interesting film based off of the diary entries that were left over from Pauline, which, the quotes that are in there in the movie are actually, a lot of the diary entries. And I mean, it's a pretty interesting take on a movie based off a diary. I mean, the last time this was done even close to this good.
And Frank.
But I mean, that was not even as good as this one. I mean, the Anne Frank story is kind of overdone like Titanic.
Too soon. Canceled. Too soon.
That
was pretty funny.
I knew you'd like that, Chuck. I knew you would.
I like that.
Oh, God. So, anyways, Chuck, do you want to lead us off on this one? Tell us a little bit about what you thought about this movie. Give it a little bit of a rating, if you will.
All right. So, I knew this was going to be a different movie because, like I said, I never even heard of it until you brought it up to me.
You're welcome.
And yeah, like upon watching this movie, the story was interesting, and the interest that the girls have in each other is they're both in love with each other, and they live in a fantasy world, all that shit. Like it's kind of I don't know. It's like it's a touching story that's got some pretty tragic events or whatever, you know. But God, there was some shit in this that was kind of hard to watch though, just because it was just kind of I don't know. I guess because they were so young that it just made certain scenes kind of like I know it wasn't anything like crazy or nothing, but there was just some stuff and it was just kind of like oh they're 14 years old like and this is going on and then and I'm just like man that's like I really could have done without that, you know.
Well, they're giving out a true life scenario that really happened.
Well, I know that, and that's what I'm trying to like say. Like, because like I said, the scenes aren't bad or nothing, and I realize that some of that stuff actually happened, but it's just like there were certain scenes where it was like certain things were going on and whatever. It was like God, you know, they were so young. And again, I know it's big points in the story of why certain things went when they did. So I get that. I don't hold it against the story. I'm just saying personally, it's like I didn't really have to see a couple of like 13-year-olds run around in their underwear. Like, you know, I didn't have to see that. Like, you know, like that was kind of like, all right, I feel really weird watching this. Like, you know, like it was really strange. I don't know. Well, you know, it's not a bad, like I said, it's not a bad movie. Not one that I'll watch again, probably.
No?
But no, not really. Well made. It is. You can definitely tell that Peter Jackson was starting to, you know, climb up a little bit more with production wise and getting more serious with the stories and stuff that he was making.
Yeah. Can you tell that this right here is like basically a this is what I like to call his huge stepping stone because like after this was like The Frighteners and then you get like King Kong and the Lord of the Rings, so it's like you know, this is definitely one of those stepping stone movies. Plus, you get him actually bringing, you know, at the time, not really a big name, but I mean, you know, nowadays, I mean, you say Kate Winslet, people know the name, regardless of if she's made anything that's worth a fuck's a whole nother story. But
apparently not. I haven't heard really anything she's done. And if I don't know, then in my little world, you just don't matter.
Right. Well, I mean. If she would have been in any of the Texas Chainsaws, then you're talking a whole other story with you.
I'm the guy that wanted her to fall off the ship. I'm not the guy that really wanted the romance to go on. So, like, I'm not really in her field of people who like her genre, you know?
No, but I bet you liked her scenes in Titanic.
And they weren't actually her, but yeah.
No.
She had a naked body stand-in, which is fine. Really? Whoever it was had a great figure.
I never went into the whole, like, history of that film. I mean, there's been so many other movies I actually gave a fuck about.
Oh yeah, I just know all kinds of shit about all kinds of stupid shit.
That's fair.
It's part of my charm.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely see why. I mean, I bet you've done a very extensive research on the Titanic films.
I was intrigued by it when I was in school.
I was just joking, anyway.
That's true. Yeah, I actually saw that fucking movie in theaters. Jesus Christ. Well, the thing is,
it was a huge movie back then.
It'd been out for a while, and it was me and two of my friends. We were in middle school, and the only reason we were going is these three girls said they would meet us at the theater. They didn't show up, so us three guys were just sitting there like, well, we paid for it, might as well just sit there and watch it. And it was bad. We were making comments the whole time. We got yelled at by parents because we were just being bitter, you know.
Three men just, you know, watching Titanic together opening day.
Well, you got three kids trying to be little punk asses, you know, being all cool and shit. And they're just sitting there watching Titanic pissed off because they thought they were going on dates. Apparently they were all there.
Oh, man. Well, I can see how that would turn out as good.
I was a very bitter child for a reason.
I can see that. So, anyways, where would you throw this one though? Your little rating, if you will.
I mean, say it's like 1 to 10. So
yeah,
I'll meet it in the middle. I'll say 5.
5?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll say 5.
Let's see. IMBD gave this one a 7.3. Think about that for a second. It's very rare that we get a movie that high of a fucking rating.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's also just like, again, it's not really my typical thing. It wasn't a bad movie, so it's like for me,
Right.
it's like it's gonna get a little bit less than
But
most.
you're
I know our guest cannot wait to tell us about what he thinks about this movie. I know he can't wait to tell us.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. Stelios, what did you think of this film? And if you had to rate it, where would you throw it?
Well, going off Chuck's comments, honestly, yeah, I didn't have time to look to check it out. To be honest, I peeped it out for like 3 minutes. I will be honest, I can't even bluff on this.
I was just gonna see. I was gonna see how long you were gonna go with it.
Yeah. I was about to roll with it and was like, all right, well, going off his comments, going off the rating, and I don't know, you seem to have mixed emotions about it, but I'm definitely gonna still check it out. I literally watched like the first 5 minutes of it, and then I was in the car, and then I was just waiting on a client because I was at a video shoot. So I was like, let me pull this boy up real quick. Let me check what it's about. And then I got about 5 minutes deep, and I was like, all right, never seen it again. I clicked out of it, and now here we are today.
Right. Well, I mean,
What year was it made?
Heavenly Creatures is 1994.
Okay.
Right. Guess I'll go ahead and jump into my little review of this one then. Personally, I actually like this movie. Especially when I'm going through and looking through like Peter Jackson's career. I literally do think of this as his stepping stone. Without little movies like this that kind of broke up the cheesy B horror. And don't get me wrong, this isn't really necessarily like a full blown horror film. There's definitely some drama and fantasy along with it. And, the true life crime is definitely part of the horror of this movie. But getting some of this fantasy where these girls have their own fantasy world where you're seeing like these clay beings come to life at different times and, you know, basically committing some of these murders for them in their head at the time.
Yeah.
We start to see some of the creativity that Jackson was having early on, with some of this fantasy realm, which, considering I'm a huge fan of his work with, especially stuff like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbits, it's really cool seeing that whole fantasy genre expanded with him.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. Yeah. I'm not even a fantasy guy.
Right. The drama behind it, I mean, obviously this is based off of a lot of diary entries, so a lot of this is definitely true. Is some of it a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah, we're talking about early teen girls basically so obsessed and in love that they're doing whatever they can to stay together.
Yeah.
And to get to the point of, killing her mom. And I mean, so they go pretty far considering what it is. I don't think this is a bad movie though. This is one where I strongly suggest anybody who's a Peter Jackson fan to really go and check this out.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
I strongly believe that you get a good idea of his career by watching something like this. Like I said, you got Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, Dead Alive, this movie, and then you got stuff like it literally came after like The Frighteners, and then he jumps right into like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just fucking insane, the
growth
process there, and and I personally, this to me is just a very different turn for him, but kind of shows a different side of him in a way too, kind of like in the way of The Lovely Bones. Another, it's definitely like it's like one of those weird little things because Lovely Bones is in between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, right after he did King Kong.
Yeah.
So it's like he gets these weird shifts every once in a while and puts out these like, I don't know if this is necessarily the right way to put it, but like these epic drama kind of true crime type movies out.
Yeah.
And like they really make you think. They're not like, your typical, like for instance, that whole Dahmer thing that just came out and everyone's been obsessed with all that work and, everything that's been going on with that, even though 99% of it's a fucking rehash of everything that we've already seen over the last 20 fucking years.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. I enjoyed it though. I was impressed with how he was. He nailed Dahmer. Nailed him.
He nailed him just the exact same way that everybody has before that, though, because there's no new information.
No.
So,
he's been the one that's got the voice and the walk down perfectly.
Yeah, the mannerisms, everything about him was just like to a T,
Yeah, he did a great fucking job.
Well,
he did a great
I'm not
job.
saying he didn't, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, we all knew. Minus a few things, we already knew the story. We've been hearing the regurgitated shit over and over again forever.
Right, but with some of these things that like Peter Jackson gets into, it's like, did you ever hear of Pauline Parker?
No.
So it's cool getting like these different kind of stories, and it's probably a lot to do with Peter Jackson living in New Zealand. But me personally, I think it's cool having this whole different take, this whole drama side, the fantasy elements, and I like seeing Peter Jackson's growth and going through these, and just to show his directing chops, and it's just, especially with him directing and his wife doing the screenplay. So it's like, them as a team collectively being able to jump around as much as they have is extremely impressive. Not many directors and screenwriters can even do this once and make it turn out good. As far as a rating for this movie, I'd probably give it a good 7.5. I think, IMDb might be right on for this one. But, there are some uncomfortable scenes, but overall, I just think it's a really fucking good movie. There's not a lot bad I can even say about it.
It's not a bad movie. Like I said again, it's just not my flavor or whatever. And the shit I was even talking about was mild, but it's just
right.
I agree. It was a good movie. Like I totally agree. Right. It's definitely one that deserves at least one watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, and hopefully our guest tonight, Stelios, will give it that one watch. Let us know what he thinks about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna watch it. I'll give you guys a review.
All right.
There you go.
We'll definitely be expecting that. Anyways, so have any of you guys had anything else going on lately? And like I know, Stelios, you got quite a bit of stuff going on with you. Basically getting to the point where we're going to start wrapping things up a little bit. Give Chuck a chance to talk about his band if he has anything going on. But Stelios, before him, obviously you got a little bit going on here with the haunted house coming up next week.
Yep.
But is there anything else you have going on directly after that? Because I know you've been planning some stuff out.
Yeah, so October 29th, which is a Saturday, we're going to be doing a bowling with Spooky. It's a bowling event it's a family-friendly event. So it's going to be $12 a person. You get a slice of pizza and a pop, and you get a bowl for 90 minutes. And that's going to be at the Monroe Sports Center. That's attached to Muggsy's out there in Monroe, Michigan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when that place was attached to Ernie's.
It's attached to, I think it's called Muggsy's. So
yeah. Yep. Well, I remember before Muggsy's was even a thing.
Yeah.
Before it was Muggsy's, they had really good food.
Do they have beer there?
They have beer there.
Yeah.
Do they have them in mugs?
No, I would hope so.
By the time Muggsy's came around, I was old enough where I was done drinking, Chuck.
I think it's called Muggsy's. I'd be expecting to have a fucking nice cold mug with my beer.
I don't know.
Call me old-fashioned, but I'd like to be told the truth when I'm advertising something.
I will say the last time I went there is because they had they had fried ice cream there. And it wasn't good.
I never had fried ice.
Palate's different.
Yeah.
I live in Kentucky, and we love everything fried here. That's one thing I've never gotten a chance to try is like fried ice cream.
Well, I mean, I would strongly recommend it from an authentic Mexican place.
Okay.
Um, Not Mugsy's. Don't go to Mugsy's for your first fried ice cream. Oh man. Well, that's still really cool though. I mean, man, I haven't been to that place in quite a long time, but I don't even think Monroe has another place. I mean, unfortunately, they used to have Nortel Lanes, who had like some of the best pizza too. And that place burnt down.
Wow. And
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that. I'm still kind of fresh
Uh,
back to Monroe.
that was on Telegraph Road. Right now, it's a huge vacant area right next to where there's that Dollar Tree over there in the Pizza Hut. The Pizza Hut used to be the coolest place ever. They don't have them anymore, but it was called a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it was a cool little area back in the day over there. What were
within
you about to say, Chuck? In the
within
last
the
few minutes, what?
well, I was gonna say a second ago, within like the last like few seconds, I now want cold beer in a mug, pizza, and fried food. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
God damn it. I have no way to get any of those things right now.
um,
Shit. Fuck.
daydream, and just pretend it's happening, and it's all going on right now.
It's not the same.
No,
No.
well, still, it's still a really cool event though. Is it going to be like a dress up type event too, or?
Yeah, we encourage anybody to dress up if they like. We'll probably be doing a few raffles, some giveaways, posters, some future tickets to other upcoming events for next year. We're all about the family and about the kids. So we're doing our annual like skating with Spooky, which we do at Dixie Skateland. So we're hoping that this bowling event is going to be successful, and then we'd like to continue it on next year as well.
Well, that'd be really cool, man. Uh, Obviously, I'm assuming that you probably have some events going on past Halloween too, right?
I'm working on one for December. Again, those things are kind of still in the works, but really for the
Right.
closeout of the year, I'm really just focusing on my short film.
Well, obviously, we're rooting for you and hoping the best out of that. And
Thank you.
Oh,
hopefully,
yeah,
by the
man.
time you get that, moving along a little bit, maybe we get a sneak peek over here. And, if you get your trailer up, maybe we can do a little bit of collaboration and getting that out there for you a little bit too.
I'd appreciate that.
No, of course, man. Um, of course, though, when I have you on for that, I'm gonna need to know what you thought about heavenly creatures.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, because I'll definitely give you guys my report. So
Well,
let you know.
we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chuck, you have anything going on with your band?
Yeah. Let's see here. On October 14 and 15, in London, Kentucky, we're playing the Mountains of Metal 7, along with a lot of other good bands. We're playing on the 15th. Not really sure about what time we're going on yet. Hopefully in the early evening.
Hmm.
Hopefully. Yeah, I think it's like $10-20 for both nights, or just $10 for one day. So yeah. So if you're in the area, come hang. Bastard Sons of Judas go. You know what to do. Look us up.
Very, very
You know
cool.
the fucking shtick. Just fucking
Yes,
type
and
it in.
to keep that shtick going, if you want to listen to something a little bit better, check out the Legitimate Sons of a Jesus Pig. My band where we make just fake songs about Chuck songs, but they're better and a lot friendlier. And for those who think this is all just a joke, really check us out on YouTube and Facebook. The pages are there, the music is there, it is real. So-
I'm still waiting for you to put out newer stuff with vocals this time, because I want to hear that shit.
you say that, but Perry put out some vocals for us.
Yeah,
And that would probably piss you off even more.
piss me off. No, not at all. Actually,
No? Having Perry
No.
collaborate with us? I mean,
no.
Perry's
With something
pretty
like
fucking
that,
good,
that would be awesome. It'd be an honor.
right?
The fact that you have a band to parody my band when we're dark and you are light, I think that's great and it's funny.
It
So
is.
you should
There
probably
is.
do more with it. And it'd be awesome to have Perry be a part of it.
Well, I'm not gonna argue that it would be.
Yeah,
You know, I will say that I did not expect the first single to get as
I don't know
big
how
as it
Ron
did.
would feel about it, but
That's a whole nother story.
we won't
that's
even
for sure.
we won't touch that.
Oh God, no. But anyways, we'll definitely have to go and cross that bridge once we get to it.
Yeah,
Anyways, I want to thank you so much, man, for coming on,
yeah, man.
sharing with us some of the things you have going on.
Thank
I
you.
personally can't wait for checking out the haunted house that you have going on, which I will be there. At least one of those days. I'm not sure exactly which one yet. I got to go and look at my schedule. Probably the 14th. But I unfortunately as a guest, I don't. Yeah, I probably shouldn't dress up as a guest. I won't dress up. What I'll do though is I'll still scare the hell out of people just because I have no life.
So basically, if you want something to do, and if you're closer to them, go to that thing. If you're closer to me, go to our thing. Same
Yeah.
days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there we
you
go.
guys. So yeah, check it out. And check out everything you have going on over there. I know you don't have a Facebook page for Spooky Films, do you?
No, we're in the works of doing that. Really, I haven't, like, my main following is on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
So it's just Instagram, Spooky Films. You can go check out all of my work, my photography, all my videos. I do a lot of music videos too, Chuck. So let me know.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
man.
What about YouTube? Do you have anything going on over on YouTube?
YouTube's a little bit of scattered. I do have some stuff on YouTube, but really, like I said, a lot of my stuff, most of my stuff's just really right there on Instagram.
All right. Well, check that out, guys. And for those listening to this in the podcast form, that will be in the show notes. I will make sure that is sent to me so we have that all good to go there. So thank you, man. I greatly appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Remember, buy our comic book. Morgan really liked it, and so did Chucky. So, who can argue with those results? Chuck, man. Good episode, buddy. We'll definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and also I want to thank our guest for coming on, even though he actually didn't watch the movie. You were honest about it, and you came on anyway.
Right.
So thanks again for coming on, brother.
Right. We do appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
For those who are really wondering what he thought about this movie, we will be taking guesses at a later date. I personally think that he is going to give it probably in between a 4 and a 6. And he is probably going to be like, yeah, it was okay, but I expected something different. And, at least that's where I'm falling on it with him.
I think he's going to hate it.
You think he's going to? Well, I mean.
He's going to be so disturbed by this movie. No, I'm just kidding. But I think he's going to hate it. Maybe.
There is a chance of that. Let's just be honest. There is. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching. What?
So, but he may not though. You might like it.
No, he might think this is the best movie ever. He might. I
think it'd be funny if he hated it.
I think this is what I'm going to strive for now. He's only going to make movies similar to this.
That's not going to happen. For little fuck, I hope that doesn't happen.
No, I don't think you'd be allowed to these days. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. We greatly appreciated it. See you next week. And with that being said, the crypt is closed.